Karl Roberts with me here today. We're going to be talking about all things LinkedIn and how Karl manages to generate a steady stream of ideal client inquiries through LinkedIn, which has transformed his business in recent times. So if you've got any questions for Karl, put them in the comments and I will put them to him throughout the course of this live. So who do we have? We've got Sarah, we've got Nadeem, we've got Jerry. Brilliant. So we've got some people attending. All right. So let's kick off then, Karl. So by way of background, Karl, just tell us about you, your firm, where you're based, how many people you've got, and we'll take it from there.
Yep. Okay. So I kind of fell into accountancy. So that was a bit unfortunate. Stumbled across it because I was good at numbers. I got a couple of jobs early on, started in audit. That bored the life out of me. And then I was recruited by what is now GMR Accountants. There were two partners, set the firm up in 1981. They brought me on as kind of senior accountant. Then back in 2012, they gave me the opportunity to buy in, which I did. And we rebranded as GMR Accountants. And then I kind of said to myself, oh crap, I'm a business owner now. I've got to do something more than just produce accounts and tax returns. And that kind of just sent me on a different journey as to how to run a good accountancy practice. And I'm sure everybody on this live will know that things are changing pretty quickly in our industry, which I think is fantastic. It creates opportunities all over the place. So since 2012, there's been a lot of change where we are. Fairly small practice. There are 11 of us in total, including myself, my fellow director. We've probably got 3 part-time members of staff included in that. And that's kind of where we're at. We don't niche in anything. We're kind of a general practice. As I say, we've been going 30 odd years now. So we've got a good mix of old clients and brand new clients.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And your size of your team?
So yeah, there's 11 of us.
11 of you, you mentioned that. You're based just outside Liverpool, aren't you?
That's about 40 minutes from Liverpool, and Preston's on the other side, 20 minutes away.
Fantastic.
We're in the seaside town of Southport.
Lovely.
Lots of pigeons and old people.
Right. So in terms of, before we start getting into LinkedIn, so before you discovered LinkedIn, before you started to use that to generate business, what were you doing beforehand? Be interested to know.
Hoping is probably the answer. Relying upon referrals was the main thing that I was doing, and face-to-face networking. I used to go to just one event every 2 weeks, and that was the extent of my marketing activity. It ticked along, got a few clients, but it was very reactive. I wasn't kind of choosing who those clients were, which has changed since LinkedIn. Not a lot, to answer your question, Reza.
Right. So in terms of, on average, new inquiries that would come your way from your marketing efforts on a monthly basis would be typically?
Not a lot at all.
Not a lot.
One a month, if that sometimes. Because there were 3 of us at the time, myself and 2 other partners at the time, and the practice was delivering what we needed it to at the time. So we weren't actively seeking new work. We would just take it when it came along. So in terms of new clients coming on board, not a lot at all. We lose very few. We don't lose a lot. And if we do, it's generally because either we've asked them to leave or they've sold up, retired, etc. So the practice just ticked over quite nicely.
Fantastic. And then you started to use LinkedIn and everything changed.
Yeah, I guess it did. Not straight away. I've been on LinkedIn for 5 years, I think it is now, 5, maybe 6. And for the first 3 or 4 years, I did nothing with it. I listened to what other people were doing and thought, well, it's all right for them. But I think I was probably too afraid to do anything with it, to be honest. So for the first few years, nothing happened. And then, as everyone does, kind of early on in the year, January, it's like my target this year is to do more with LinkedIn. I just got started. I just started putting some content out there, connecting with people, and built it up from there to the point now, yes, where virtually all my business comes from LinkedIn.
Wow.
And as I say, I get to be a bit picky about who we bring on as well.
That's fantastic. I mean, I know you shared your results with me for 2019.
Yeah.
But just for those of you watching, put in the comments how many inquiries you think Karl got in 2019 from LinkedIn from ideal clients. Let us know in the chat box, in the comments box, and see if you are anywhere close to the reality.
This is going to make me look silly now.
Don't be shy. Comments box, can be anything. I think Nadeem, you're there. What do you think, Nadeem? How many inquiries do you think Karl got in 2019? 250.
I really wish, Nadeem.
Anyone else? Sarah, Jerry, what else have we got? Can't really see who's on here unless you are commenting. So give us some numbers. Sarah says 500. Okay, well, I think they've...
I need to up my game.
Okay, we're talking about inquiries here. We're not talking about kind of likes and comments and things. So, okay, well, reveal all. Karl, tell us the real number.
What was the real number? I forgot now.
I think you got 47.
47.
Yeah.
So it's a big disappointment to everybody, that, I think. Yeah, it was only 47. And that was basically people. There's no sell to my LinkedIn. It's all inbound, and that's essentially people messaging me saying, "Karl, I want to work with you. How can we make that happen? What do we do next?" And I didn't sign up 47 because I have a process which takes them, because I'm using LinkedIn to focus on a particular type of client, not just anybody and everybody. I don't take on tax return only work. I have a specific idea of who I want to work with. So sorry about that, everyone.
No, but actually, to put it into context, so Karl got 47 leads, of which 44 discovery calls were booked, 22 proposals after those calls were sent out, of which Karl won 13 at an average fee of £4,183, which totaled fees of 54,379 in 2019 from LinkedIn, which is amazing, which is fantastic, from essentially what is free marketing. You don't have to pay for LinkedIn. It's all organic reach. It's all completely free. And if Karl keeps going like that, then he's going to have one hell of a practice in years to come. So Karl, tell us, in terms of your content strategy then, from where you started out and then when you started to kind of really get the feel that there's something in it here, I'm starting to get inquiries, this is really working. Now, how do you craft your content to attract the kind of inquiries that you're looking for from your ideal clients?
Yeah. So I guess it all starts from knowing the type of business that I want to work with. And then, quite simply, I guess I put myself in their shoes and think about the questions that they're wondering, that they're asking, the frustrations that they have with their current accountants. And I do a combination of things. I try and answer some of those questions, but I also put myself in a different light. I don't want to be just your kind of once a year, end of year accountant. So all my content is trying to portray that and show that essentially we're trying to create partnerships with our clients and work with them on their business. So it all comes from understanding what the client actually looks like. So if you looked at my LinkedIn post, for example, you will never ever see me mention tax returns because I don't want to attract tax return type clients. I want to attract limited companies of a certain size that we can work with in a certain way. So that's why that directs the content that I put out there, and it's more, I guess, business related as well than just accounting. Yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, Reza. But...
Yep, absolutely. So in terms of what do you? So I know you do a lot of videos, don't you? You do
Yes.
videos and a mixture of text posts, and
Yeah.
you try and put yourself in the shoes of your target market, your ideal client,
Yes.
kind of business owner. And I know a lot of your posts are quite educational in terms
Yeah.
of educating them on the numbers. So is that purposeful, that you find in your dealings with your clients that you want to work with, that actually that is a gap there that we kind of sometimes take for granted, that they will just understand the numbers, but
Yeah.
quite clearly they don't. And then you then use that as an opportunity to reach out to bridge the gap.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there. I think a lot of my inspiration for my posts comes from the meetings that I'm having with my clients on a daily basis. And just because we produce a profit and loss account and pop it in front of the client, you can't expect them to understand that. They rely upon us to understand that. So I see my role as almost the interpreter of the numbers. Clients want, if I do this, this will happen. If I don't do this, this will happen. That's how I want to work with and help my clients. And that kind of drives the content that I put out there on LinkedIn, like you say, the educational type stuff, to try and just demonstrate that the numbers can be powerful. And once you understand the numbers, it can help you as a business owner make better decisions. And I guess that's a lot of that drives my content.
Yeah. And I mean, when you look at the posts that have given you the greatest engagement, what would you say it is about those particular posts that gave you the engagement that you got?
It's probably where people can relate. I think it is. It's where I've put something out there and people will say, I'm in that position now. I didn't understand that. I get that. And you will, yeah, I think that's it, where people can relate to what you're putting out there. Not everybody will, because everyone's on a different path. I put a post out last night and I got an inbox message saying this was impeccably timed for us because we were just talking about this today. Can we have a conversation? And that's generally how the content starts to attract people, because you're talking about something that is affecting them there and now. Other times they will find it interesting, they will like it, but if they're not experiencing that pain or that frustration, then it might not be the right time for them. So I think that's where LinkedIn, it snowballs. You get a bit at the beginning, but they're absorbing your content, and it could be 2 months, it could be 2 years before somebody gets in touch. But if they've been absorbing your content, and then they start to experience that pain that I've previously answered or just answered in that post, then chances are they'll touch base with you and want to have a conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. If there's anyone who's got any specific questions for Karl, do let us know and I'll put them to him. But I think you raised a valid point there, Karl, in terms of what people don't see. And people might look at you now and see that you're getting great engagement and you've got all this, inquiries and work that comes from it. So people kind of see the success, but that's not an overnight success. It's as a result of the consistent showing up and actually posting on a regular basis, time and again, whether you're getting engagement or not. And the culmination of that, like we discussed in the last session about, tiny changes, remarkable results, the marginal gains, the 1% improvements that, you have demonstrated, that's what's kind of required to build it up to a point where you are seen as someone who people want to work with. So in terms of, your consistency, how often do you aim to post then in terms of your content?
Good question. The aim is simply twice a week. It's always been twice a week. Typically, it's more like 4 or 5 times a week.
Right.
I schedule. I don't schedule. I put it in my calendar. I have a little calendar that says what I've got to do for the day, and LinkedIn post is always there on 2 days a week, just to make sure that I'm consistent, that I'm showing up at least twice a week. The problem I have is that I can't control the ideas that come to my head, and I will just tend to react and be like, oh, that's a good idea, that makes sense, and boom, and I'll pop it out there. So that's how it turns into 4 or 5, maybe even more times a week. I try and build up. I'm a bit strange in that I email myself when these ideas come, because it might not be the right time for me to post, but I want to save it for later. So I think in my, I have a little LinkedIn folder. I think there's 130 unread items sat there at the minute. So if ever I'm struggling, I can just go and see what I've emailed myself and get some ideas. But yeah, as you said, Reza, it's crucial to be consistent, and that's why I schedule it in, because we all get busy, and it's so easy to forget to do this stuff, to not get chance. A week turns into 2, and then before you know it, you're months down the line, and you've kind of forgotten about that, and you've got to start all over again then.
Yeah, definitely. No, I like the system you use to remind yourself that you've got something to do by emailing yourself. I use Trello, so I've got a list on Trello about posts that are scheduled and post kind of ideas, and then if I've got an idea, quickly just from my phone or from the computer can just put a little note to say, this is what I need to talk about, and pad it out so that it's always there. And it's important, like you said, to have a place where you can capture ideas, because these can come to you at any time. More often when you're outside the office, not actually engaged in work, and that's when your creative juices start to flow, isn't it?
Always. It's always when you don't want them to come, Reza.
Absolutely.
When you're driving or in the shower or something like that. So.
Yeah, that's it. So Nadeem is asking, what do you find has worked better for you, video or text-based post?
That's a great question. Okay, so here's where it strays from the vanity metrics of LinkedIn. So a text post will make you feel good because people will like it, you'll get lots of views, and you get a bit of engagement as well. The video posts, which are probably more uncomfortable for some people, but once you do it, you're okay. Sometimes the views are dismal. On a text post, I could reach 10,000 views quite easily. On a video post, I'd probably struggle to get over 2,000 views. However, whenever I meet a prospect, or if I go to an event or something like that, I've been places and you're the LinkedIn guy. People always talk about my videos. They don't talk about my posts, the text-based posts. They always refer to my videos, even though sometimes I may think, oh, that's just bombed. It's had 400 views and one person's liked it. But people will talk about the videos more than anything, and particularly with prospects, when they've seen the videos, when they come sit in front of me, the first thing they always say is, I feel like I already know you. Yeah. So you're halfway there. You're Absolutely. Halfway there with those prospects. I mean, that as long as they're a good fit for us, the job's almost done. So yes, the engagement may be less in terms of the number of people liked and viewed it, but I think the outcome is better from videos.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah, I like the way you phrased it. It is a vanity metric on your text post, but like you say, and that's, video is so powerful because, that's how you kind of get yourself across. And I've noticed the same when people consume your videos, convert them because, they're already sold by you. They're already, the know, like, and trust is already there. And it's just about, getting them over that line, which is so much easier when they've consumed your video content, which is, why it's so important, why I encourage people to do the video challenge in the group, to actually get out there and be more confident, even if, your first few videos, you may think they're rubbish, but actually just the mere fact of just doing it, no matter how bad the quality or how bad you think it might be, it will do wonders for, yourself, your profile, your brand, your firm, and all the rest of it.
Completely agree.
Carrie is asking, do you edit the videos yourself or does someone do them for you?
There is no editing, Carrie. Yeah, no, it's all myself. It's just a smartphone, iPhone. I guess one take wonder. The thing is, Carrie, I probably don't always look back over the videos too much because I still don't like watching myself. I'm getting better, but there's no editing involved other than chopping out the front and the end, where I'm pulling a silly still face or something like that. That's it in terms of editing.
And is that how you just started out? You just got your iPhone, you put it on a tripod or a stand or something?
Yeah, I mean, so I use a tripod in here, or wherever I decide to shoot the video. Yeah, all the videos are done on my iPhone. I've experimented with the webcam. They've not come across as well. I'm going to work on that more this year. But yeah, all just done on the iPhone, either on a selfie stick or a tripod. And yeah, press play, see what comes out, and then I get it out there.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Right, anyway, if you've just joined, I've got Karl here. If you've got any questions for him on how he generates over £50,000 worth of fees on LinkedIn, let us know in the comments. One question I do have for you, Karl, actually, is you have and I know you got some incredible engagement with this post that you did, I think sometime last year. Now, when I was talking to you, you mentioned that I think LinkedIn had intervened because they didn't like what you were doing.
Oh yeah.
One of your posts, and I think it was your book, wasn't it? You were you were asked, you put your book out there that you did, and then asking people to put in the comments if they wanted a copy, and it just went viral like crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, talk us through that. What was that? I mean, clearly you've got a lead magnet, you've got a book, which is highly valuable, and I think I'm guessing that helps you as well in terms of positioning yourself as an authority and an expert in your field. So yeah, talk us about the the book, how you when you did it, how you did it, what it's about, and how it helps you.
Okay, grab a copy. So this is the book that Rez is talking about, The Profit Compass, and it's basically written with my ideal client in mind in terms of how to use numbers to grow your business. And it's talking about real businesses that I've worked with, small, medium-sized businesses, and certain things that we've done working together and how it's helped them improve their business. The idea is to take you away from the stereotypical accountant that just crunches numbers, does tax returns. So the post that Rez is referring to, every now and then on LinkedIn, I have a kind of a capture page behind the book. And every now and then on LinkedIn, I'll just say, hey, here's a case study. A client went from this to this. They're featured in the book. If you want a copy, just comment below and I'll send you one. And every now and then these things take off, and this one really did. It was on a Sunday, and it ended up getting 500,000 views. I had to hire 2 of the girls. I had to get their 16-year-old daughters in to come in and send messages to people replying, and also send the books out. And yeah, it was good. It had some 3,000 comments or something. But then it stopped really quickly, and everyone was saying, somebody's told me about your post, but I can't see it. I could see it, but nobody else could see it, and LinkedIn had stopped me. And the reason that they'd stopped me was because to send somebody the book, I had to be a first connection with them. So this post resulted in me gaining over 1,000 connection requests as well in 24 hours. But when I connect with people, I say, hey, great to connect. Here's a copy of the book. But I think what had happened is not everybody had accepted my connection request. So LinkedIn looked at me and thought I was spamming all these people by trying to connect with everybody, and quite a chunk of them were not connecting with me. So they shut me down. Luckily, I found a nice person at LinkedIn that I could put my case forward to, and they got me back up and running. But yes, I don't think you can see that post anymore. They never reinstated it. I can see it, and I've got a picture of it somewhere just to prove I wasn't lying that I got 500,000
You need to do a blog post on how I broke LinkedIn.
yeah. So that was that strategy works quite well. I did one a week or so ago. Again, that has, I can't remember, 400 odd comments on it or something like that. And it's just a way of filling up my pipeline. Quite a lot of the clients that come on board as well have read the book. So the book complements the posts that go out on LinkedIn. So when people are sat in front of me, they kind of know what I'm about already. And I guess it's a filtering process of trying to attract the right person.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's definitely kind of a strategy I'd advocate as well, to kind of create something of value, a lead magnet of some sort, like you have done with your book, and then use that as a way of positioning yourself and talking to your ideal client, so that people who have consumed it are already ready and aware of what they're going to get, and then using social media to kind of obviously raise awareness of it and funnel them into your own lead capture system to then nurture those prospects going forward. So I presume in terms of that side of things, you've got it set up with MailChimp in the background that collects the email addresses of everyone who signs up for it.
Yeah, I do, but I'm experimenting at the minute. So I do have that. I don't think my follow-on emails are good enough. So I'm going to change them and maybe incorporate more video into them to get my personality across as well, and just a better explanation. But this last one that I did, I basically said, if you want a free copy of the book, let me know. We have to be connected for me to send you that. So I made sure I got that in there first, so that they were sending me the connection request, so LinkedIn didn't tell me off. So they would connect with me, and then I'd simply just send them the PDF, no strings attached, no email required, just sent them the PDF. And I think the idea behind that is, look, we've just connected and I've given you something of real value straight away. Now that we're connected, you can also see all the posts that I'm going to put out there, and hopefully you'll absorb enough of my content that at some point you might come knocking on the door to see if we can work together.
Brilliant. No, that's great. That's a good strategy for, I guess, for people who aren't familiar with LinkedIn, in terms of, if you want your LinkedIn is still, in terms of all the social media platforms out there, gives you great organic reach, meaning that it gives you the ability to reach a wider network for free, as opposed to the likes of Facebook, where organic reach is limited. But to get that, your posts need to have high levels of engagement. So if your posts get a lot of likes, and especially comments, if you get a lot of comments on your post, it's going to show it to more and more people. So that's the idea. And again, Karl uses that very well to kind of get pique people's interest, to give away value without anything in return expected. And that then helps exposure and builds his connections, and then generates into inquiries in the future. Michelle is asking, are your videos always work related or personal as well?
Good question. I've done a couple of personal ones. Sometimes what I do is I link a personal experience to something that relates to business. An example was when my 5-year-old boy was learning to ride his bike and was really struggling. And we went to one of these groups where they have all these kids trying to learn to ride their bikes. And I thought, and James was not getting it. He was going to be the 18-year-old boy that couldn't ride a bike. And we just had a bit of a chat, and I just said, stop focusing on everyone, stay in your own lane. And eventually got it. And once he got it, he was off. And then you can link that back to a kind of a business post, in that forget the competition, forget what other people are doing, stay in your own lane, focus on what you're doing. I think I need to do more personal stuff, because I think it's good to get your own personality across, because at the end of the day, people buy from people. And if you look at people like Jerry Williams and Laura Taylor, they are fantastic on LinkedIn, and they show a lot of their own personality. Laura is very, very open and honest, and Jerry will have you in stitches, basically. But it's not all accountancy related. So it's a great strategy, because you're getting people to buy into you and like you as a person. And then when you mix that in and go, hey, I'm an accountant, I'll do some really cool stuff, then they go, oh, right, okay, great. That's a bonus. I think it's a good strategy. I think I need to do more personal stuff, to be honest.
Yeah, I know, I agree with you there as well. It's people think that LinkedIn is a business platform. Yes, it's a networking platform, but there's people on it. So yeah, be yourselves, be authentic. And there's a reason why, because LinkedIn you have the ability to post as your company as well, but company posts never do as well as personal posts. It's because you can't really relate to a company, and therefore individual posts come across a lot better. You can actually put your personality across, be authentic, be you, talk about what you like initially, because it can be used for relationship building, building relationships, which you never know where they may take you or get you. And it's all about, giving, and the law of reciprocity will give you something in return. So if you just have that mindset of giving, it will come back to you at some point at some time. So Guys, any more questions for Karl before we round up? So any last gasp questions? This is your last chance to ask Karl how he generates an unbelievable amount of inquiries from LinkedIn. Oh, Nadeem again. Nadeem says, how do you use hashtags? This question, as I got confused when I posted my first video last week. Which do you pick?
It's completely random, Nadeem. When I've crafted a post, LinkedIn will suggest a number of hashtags at the bottom. So mine are generally profit, small business, success, that kind of thing. Whether they work, I don't know. I just play around with it, to be honest, Nadeem. Every now and then LinkedIn will tell me that I'm trending on a certain hashtag, but it doesn't really mean that much to me, to be honest. So yeah, there's no science behind that. I just choose them at random.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I can chip in here. There is a link from LinkedIn perspective. There is, from what I've heard from LinkedIn experts, the optimum number of hashtags to use is 3.
Yeah.
What you'll find is when you actually go to the URL on your post that you've done, it will actually have the 3 hashtags in that post. So it does use them in some way. And there are ways of finding out which are popular hashtags, and that's how you get your stuff trending, by using popular hashtags. If you just type in popular hashtags into Google, there's a guy called I think Andy Foote, who's a LinkedIn expert. He's done a whole list of 100 popular hashtags, so you can pop 1 or 2 of those in, just to help you get a little bit of extra reach if you wanted to, if you are discussing a particular topic which has a hashtag.
You can also use them, Reza, to find good content. One thing we've not talked about is, all we've talked about is putting our own content out there, but you can also, LinkedIn is very powerful in terms of commenting on other people's content and building relationships that way. So you could use a hashtag small business or hashtag profit, search for that, and it will tell you other people that have posted using that hashtag, which you can then comment on and show your expertise that way. Sometimes you get more likes commenting on somebody else's post than you would do on your own post, assuming the comment's a good one and a sensible one. That's
right. That's a very good point, very valid point, because you'll see, like you say, if you are, when you're scrolling through your feed, even though a post will have 50 comments, it will show a comment from someone you're connected to. So that's another good way of, even if you don't have anything to post and you're just starting out, then actually engaging on other people's posts through commenting will get you exposure. Like Karl mentioned, it definitely helps. Brilliant. Okay, so if there are no more questions, then I think we should round up. Oh, just lastly, I had a question here that I want to ask you. So what system do you use to track your marketing efforts? Because clearly you have a system. I mean, you managed to give me some quite detailed figures, from number of inquiries to calls to proposals to work won directly from LinkedIn. So is there a system you use?
Yeah, you're going to embarrass me now, Reza. It's a spreadsheet.
It's still a system.
What tends to happen is, and I'm not exactly sure how accurate in terms of the leads, because sometimes all the inquiries come through LinkedIn, generally the messages, and I have a brief conversation, and some of it's the phishing, it's not a lead. But if I think they're serious, it goes down on my spreadsheet as a lead, and then I'll book in a discovery call, and then that's tracked on the spreadsheet that we've had the discovery call. It's a fit or it's not a fit, and if it's not a fit, then I'll say goodbye, and if I do believe it's a fit, then I'll arrange another meeting to do the proposal with them, and then it follows through from there. So nothing fancy. I always like to start simple. So it started on a piece of paper, and then it went to a spreadsheet, and then as the volume grows, if I want the volume to grow, then I may look at a CRM system. But to be fair, I've had the CRM systems in the past, and I've not had the same benefit as I have from a simple spreadsheet.
Yeah, sometimes simple is just best.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay. Well, Karl, it's been a pleasure. It's been great talking to you. If you guys that are watching, if you haven't already connected with Karl on LinkedIn, he's Karl Roberts. go and connect with him. I'm sure he'll be glad and pleased to connect with you, and you can then see the great stuff he's putting out, all his posts and what he's doing on LinkedIn to generate the level of business that he does. Karl, once again, thank you very much for this. Much appreciated, and we'll catch up soon, no doubt.
Thank you. Cheers, Reza.
Thanks, Karl. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Take care, and we'll speak soon.